feels good to be back, and there is optimism on Rocky Top right now. You wouldn't know it if you looked at the box score about that after that Georgia game, but there's optimism here. The Vols did lose 43 to 14 against Georgia, but the score doesn't really show how competitive this game was.
Right, you're right. You're perfectly right, actually. The first three quarters, we really came out. We showed something that I wasn't completely sure we had going into the game. Like, we haven't really showed it pretty much all season. But I think with Maurer at starter, our offense is showing things that it hasn't shown with Garantano being there. He's making passes that I just don't think that Garantano, well, I'm sure he's capable of making, but he hasn't shown it consistently. And that's what we're now giving Maurer the opportunity to do. And I appreciate Pruitt for doing that. Because, I mean, he's going to take some flack for it, but honestly, if he keeps losing, he's going to get flack for it. So, good move by him, putting Maurer at the starter. And do you think he'll be starting for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think so. Like you're saying, Bryson, that's the headline of the day. Brian Maurer is the new starting quarterback for Tennessee. Pruitt didn't confirm if Maurer would continue to start, but it seems likely that he will be the starter for the rest of the season, starting this weekend with Mississippi State. He wasn't the only player that played well. Tennessee had some standout performances from guys like Marquez Callaway, who had 105 receiving yards and a touchdown, and Juwan Jennings, who had 114 and a touchdown on 7 catches, including one really nice play where he dragged a bunch of defenders about an extra 15 yards. It was a really gritty play, and that's why we loved Juwan Jennings here on campus. A surprising thing for me this weekend was the emergence of Tim Jordan. You know, Jordan played a lot at the end of last season, but then at the beginning of this season, Coach Pruitt has been going with Ty Chandler and Eric Gray as his 2 running backs. But in this game, Eric Gray took a back seat. The freshman from Memphis only had 5 carries, and Tim Jordan responded with 9 carries and about 50 yards. And I think that's kind of an exciting development because Jordan provides this big power back element that neither Gray or Chandler does. And so that helps the team out a little bit. One player that I was not happy with his performance was Joe Doyle. Tennessee is known to be punter university, 3 punters in the NFL right now, most of any team, college. And Doyle struggled. He shanked a punt out of bounds. A lot of his punts didn't go very far. He averaged under 50 yards a punt, and a lot of those it wasn't a result of him trying to pin people deep. A lot of those were him just not kicking the ball very well. But let's move on. Do you have high hopes for the rest of this season? Do you think Tennessee has a chance at a bowl game? They have to win 5 out of 7 from here on out to do that.
5 out of 7. So if you look at our next 7, which is pretty tough, the 5 that we're most likely to win probably be Mississippi State, UAB, Kentucky, Mizzou, and Vandy. And we haven't beat Vandy in, the last 3 years?
3 years.
So, I mean, it's going to be tough to be bowl eligible. If I'm answering honestly, I got to say no because I just don't think we're capable of beating those 5, at least not right now. So take these next couple games, especially against Mississippi State, and then Bama. I'm not even going to talk about it. We're gonna lose that game. But take these chances to get better. We want to go in, we want to win, obviously, but we also want to compete to the best of our ability. And I still think we've been doing that. So if we take this time and potentially those last couple games, maybe we can squeeze the last 5 out and become bowl eligible. What do you think?
I'm with you. I don't think it's going to happen. But it does seem nice that Maurer is a starter, and so people can start talking about, maybe Tennessee can go ahead and make a nice run at the end of the season. And I don't think everything that Maurer showed on Friday or on Saturday was positive. He started out so well, but only finished completing 50% of his passes. And in the second half, he was 4 of 11 for 50 yards, an interception, and a fumble, which was returned for a touchdown. No touchdowns in the second half for Maurer. Tennessee started off hot. 2 touchdowns. They were up early. They were up 14-10, and after that did almost nothing for the rest of the game. But there were signs of life, and Georgia's one of the best teams in the country.
True. They're ranked 3. So, I mean, honestly, the fact that it was so competitive for those first 3 quarters, I mean, I'll take that from a Tennessee team right now. So, yeah. I mean, we take what we can in these tough times.
Yeah. So Tennessee will be back in action this weekend at home at Neyland against Mississippi State before traveling to Tuscaloosa next Saturday for the 3rd Saturday in October. So get ready for that. We'll be back after this break to talk about some Tennessee basketball because the Rocky Top tip-off was this past weekend. But stay tuned. Jacob Bauder, Bryson Garret. We'll see you all in a sec.
My name is Adam Crabtree. I'm a senior here at the University of Tennessee. I am majoring in journalism, electronic media. I'm one of the executive producers on Vol Talk, and I'm also a member of the commercial production unit. How professional it is like the biggest surprise, because this is all a bunch of students coming in here. You know, we have faculty members that advise us, but at the same time, it's all student ran. Every decision's made by the students, and how professional the atmosphere is. At the same time, it's still enjoyable and fun. It's a great learning experience. It's What's up? I've always enjoyed being on the sets. It's always like a second home to me. I always feel at home. This is what I want to do. I started out as like an audio guy. I was in charge of making sure all the guests were mic'd properly and the levels were appropriate. Hey Justin, can you count to 10 for me? Did that for about a year, and then like my third semester started in a producing role and just helping out with during the set, like making sure all the cameras were where they needed to be, and we had all the materials we needed for each show. The executive producer now, we're making sure the whole show's ready to go. And just to be able to step into like more of a leadership role and actually take on the responsibilities of getting the show off the ground has been kind of stressful at times, but it's been a great experience to learn this here, besides going out in the real world and just like being thrown in the fire and not having any background or any experience beforehand. To know how to like conduct myself in a professional environment while still maintaining having fun and getting the job done is something that I probably could not have replicated anywhere else on campus.
Welcome back to Sports Mecca, everyone. My name is Jacob Bauder, here today with Bryson, Garret. And the Rocky Top tip-off was this past weekend. Tennessee fans got their first look at the basketball team as they move into this next season. You know, a lot of familiar faces are gone, but a lot of new faces are in big roles. So, Bryson, how are you feeling right now? How are we feeling about this Tennessee basketball season?
I'm feeling great. Feeling a lot better than I am about the football season. Let's just say that. Like you said, we lost a lot of great players, and we got some big shoes to fill. I mean, including Schofield, Williams, and Alexander. But Bone too. But when we talk about that, we got a lot of new guys coming in, like Josiah James, 6'5", 5-star point guard coming in. And like I said, he has to replace Jordan Bone, who was quick, agile. I mean, he could pass the ball, he could shoot the ball. So there's pretty big shoes to fill. But I think 6'5", Josiah James is capable of doing so.
Yeah, James is a super talented athlete, great shooter, great facilitator. But something that's interesting to me right now are the players that are already on the roster that we already know a little bit about and how they're going to continue going into this season. For one, I'm excited about big guys. I want to see what our big guys look like because Tennessee, last year, the three top guys they had were Kyle Alexander, then John Fulkerson, and after that were Derek Walker and DJ Burns. Well, Alexander's now in the Miami Heat. Fulkerson is still here. Burns and Walker both transferred. So there's a lot of big shoes to fill there. Part of that will be Uros Plavsic coming in from Europe, a big recruit, 7'1". But he and Fulkerson are going to have to be the two guys that maintain that middle, and so it'll be interesting to see how they do, especially when Tennessee plays against big-name teams like Memphis and Wisconsin who have great centers. And then another position I'm ready to look at is the wings, because Tennessee is going to have to go small a lot with the lack of big guys, and that's going to mean a lot of minutes for Jalen Johnson, who's a great offensive player but a terrible defender, and Yves Pons, who's a great defensive player that has not shown very much on offense. And so those guys are going to be relied to do a lot of the things as big wings that can kind of play that undersized four. And so I'm excited to see how they move or how they play this year and how that helps Tennessee move on. So I want to know, what do you expect from this team this year, Bryson?
I expect another tournament run, obviously. High hopes, maybe Sweet 16. I know it's pretty out there considering we lost a lot of integral pieces, and we're a new team. Well, pretty much a kind of a new team going into this. But I expect big things out of this season. I know we could use more bigs and certain things at certain locations, but like I said, Tennessee, I think those players leaving, they left behind a culture of winning, you know? And so if that carries on, and if Barnes continues to do his job exceptionally like he's been doing, I think we're set for another successful season.
Yeah, I agree with that, although I think it's worth pointing out that Tennessee's schedule is really difficult this year. They have games against teams like Kansas and Memphis, who'll be in the top 5 for a lot of this season. Teams like Wisconsin, Florida State, Washington, Kentucky twice, Auburn twice, Florida. And if they beat Florida State in that invitational tournament at the beginning of the season, they also have another game against Purdue, which is the Sweet 16 rematch from last year that left a lot of Vols fans mad. And so I wouldn't be surprised if this team finishes the season with around 10, 11 losses, but still makes it in the tournament as around a 7, 8, 9 seed.
I think that's a good prediction.
Yeah. So going on into women's basketball, because the Lady Vols, obviously here in Rocky Top, people love the Lady Vols, including us. And so a new coach this year.
New coach. Kelly Harper, yeah. She was part of the 98 championship team with Pat Head Summit. So hopes are that she can kind of usher in some of that stuff that Pat Head was bringing in, that culture of winning again. Because like I said, Lady Vols especially, it's been a minute since Pat Head, like nothing has really compared to her. And so obviously having that comparison, not fair to Kelly Harper by any means, but as a University of Tennessee's Lady Vol coach, and it's just going to be, it's your reality. That's what you have to, that's the precedent that you have to live up to. So, I mean, obviously I hope the best for her. I hope the best for the season, and I think that we'll have a very prosperous season, but like I said, Kelly Harper, she's got to have to bring in a lot of the stuff that Pat was bringing in.
Yeah, for sure. And Tennessee has a lot of talented players returning. Probably the biggest name coming back is Renaya Davis, who had a great year last year. Also, Cassie Katua is returning at center. So that's another very talented player in the middle. But then 2 new freshmen that are coming in that should be very exciting additions are Jordan Horston, who's the number 2 recruit in the country. Very talented guard, can score from anywhere on the floor. 6'2" guard, that's pretty tall. Excited to see what she can do. And then Tamari Key, who's a center, 6'7", I believe, which is obviously very giant for women's basketball. And so I'm excited to see how these new freshmen can come in and add to the core already with Renaya Davis and Kush Kiddawa. And so it'll be exciting to see how the Lady Vols do this year.
Very exciting.
Yeah, so we'll be back after this commercial break. We're going to talk to you guys about what's happening in the NFL, take a long look at that Titans game because, man, it is hard to tell what's going on in Nashville with the Titans. So stay tuned. Jacob and Bryson will be right back on the other side. This is Sports Mecca.
The UT Student Health Center offers a variety of services for students, faculty, and staff of the university. Our full-service pharmacy is staffed with licensed pharmacists who are dedicated to the health and well-being of the UT community. Located on campus across from the Rock, the UT Student Health Center Pharmacy provides the same services offered at large retail chains at your convenience. We accept most insurance plans, so you will be able to purchase the medication you need for an affordable price. At the University of Tennessee, your health is essential. So come by our pharmacy and remember, a healthy Vol is a happy Vol.
Welcome back to Sports Mecca, everyone. Jacob Botter here today with Bryson Garret. We're here to talk to you guys about some NFL action. The season's heating up. It's October. Week 5 is almost in the books. We'll see the end of it tonight with Browns 49ers on Monday Night Football. But let's go ahead and get into it. Bills and Titans. The Tennessee Titans came into this game high off of a big win against the Atlanta Falcons in which Marcus Mariota looked fantastic. Let's get into these highlights because it was an exciting game, especially if you like defense. Here we see early A.J. Brown with the big catch. Brown having a nice start to the season, but Cairo Santos right here is going to miss the field goal, and he struggled.
He struggled a lot in this game, actually. He ended up 0 for 4, which is very terrible. But he ended up getting cut today, so he's now unemployed.
Yeah, right there, Josh Allen completes the pass to John Brown, and then here is going to find Lee Smith, the big tight end, for the touchdown. You know, a lot of people, including myself, criticized Josh Allen when he came out of Wyoming for being tall and accurate. You know, it's sort of just the prototypical looking passer without any of the actual stats and ability. But Allen has proven me wrong. He's a great runner. He's very athletic, and he's a very talented quarterback that seems to be up to big things in the NFL. Here you see Santos missing that second kick from 36 yards. But, yeah, the Bills, one of the most surprising teams in the league. Now, right here, 3-1. They did end up beating the Titans, putting them at 4-1. But right there, Allen will throw a pick. Kevin Byard, who a few years ago led the NFL in interception, showing that he's still got it. Right here we see Derrick Henry taking the ball down to the goal line just about. Henry, the big bruising back out of Alabama, has been very, very talented. One of the fastest guys in the league, which is shocking for someone that big. And right there you see him pounded into the end zone for the touchdown. And then here, Marcus Mariota going to find Jonnu Smith, the tight end out of, I believe, Florida International, who has been – he's just so athletic, a very big, fast guy. And right there, 57 yards for Jonnu Smith. That's not something you see a lot from tight ends. You don't see tight ends run like that all the time. Right there, Mariota going to find his receiver on the sideline. You know, 2 guys that have impressed me this year, A.J. Brown and Corey Davis, the Titans' 2 core of young receivers, but neither of them have been that impressive in this game. But across the season, I think Titans fans should be very happy with their progress. Here, Mariota is going to find A.J. Brown, the rookie from Ole Miss, for the touchdown, or so it seems. Yeah, Mariota was across the line. It's going to be an illegal forward pass on the play. So let's go ahead and talk about the Titans a little bit. They did end up losing this game. I mean, what's the deal? They looked so great last week. Can this team be consistent?
I mean, that's a great question. I mean, I think the real question should be, can Mariota be consistent? Because last week, I mean, he did great last week. But this week, it wasn't the same. He wasn't the same QB. Obviously, our offensive line still has problems as well. Even though it's extremely expensive and we spent a lot of picks on it, it still hasn't been what it's supposed to be. It hasn't lived up to the hype, really. And, I mean, obviously, having Santos go 0 for 4 doesn't really help things. So, I mean, it's just a recipe for disaster right now, I think, for the Titans, unless something changes, whether it be Mariota, the offensive line, something has to change in order for us to get better.
Yeah, and maybe the secondary, the defense. Right there you saw the little end arounds go to Ian McKenzie on the jet pass, takes it a long way down the field. And then right there, one of the feel-good stories of the season, Josh Allen is going to find Duke Williams in his first career NFL game. Duke Williams was on the practice squad, an undrafted player who got the start, ended up getting to come in due to some injuries the Browns had at receiver. And right there makes a big catch for his first career touchdown. It would end up being the game winner. So congrats to Duke Williams. Great way to start off his career. Here, Mariota can't find his receiver. He cannot hook up with Corey Davis, and that's going to lead to another field goal attempt. And Cairo Santos continues to struggle. That was miss number 4 on the day. Right here, Josh Allen going to give the ball to Frank Gore, the big old, or that's actually not Gore, excuse me. But on this drive, he's going to start giving the ball to Gore, and the Bills are just going to pound the clock. There's Gore right there. That last run was T.J. Yeldon. But the Titans' defense just was unable to stop these runs at the end of the game. The Bills ended up running the clock out, and that would do it from Nashville. Titans will drop to 2 and 3 on the season. It'll put them behind everyone else in the AFC South because the Colts and the Texans are both 3 and 2. Titans and Jags are now down at 2 and 3. Let's move on to some other NFL headlines. We'll start with Green Bay and Dallas, two teams that before the season could be considered Super Bowl contenders. Green Bay would win 34-24. At one point, they led 31-3. What's up with the Cowboys?
I mean, I'm not going to say that they're overrated. I mean, they started off the season 3-0. They might have not been playing the stiffest of competition to say. Not great teams, but not bad teams by any means. But Amari Cooper played great in that game, I think. But Dak threw 3 interceptions, which you can't do that against a good team, especially in the NFL. But he struggled in back-to-back games, this game and the game before. And if he's going to continue playing like this, and especially in his contract year, he's got to step up because he's not going to be able to get any type of good money if he keeps playing like this.
Yeah, and this is a game you would pick the Packers to win going into it with guys like Devontae Adams and Jamal Williams out. And so the Packers decided to just go ahead and feed Aaron Jones, the young running back out of UTEP, and Jones responded. He had almost 200 scrimmage yards and 4 touchdowns, including 7 catches. So a lot of work for Aaron Jones, and he impressed. The Packers go ahead and get that win and start to look like Super Bowl contenders, perhaps. Aaron Rodgers looking good in that new Matt LaFleur offense. Let's move on. Colts and Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. The Colts won a surprise game, 19-13, but the headline there is that Patrick Mahomes re-aggravated his ankle injury. And if you're a Chiefs fan, you should be terrified because Mahomes is the Chiefs. He is the guy that makes their offense run. He is the guy that runs the offense. The Chiefs are going to go as far as Mahomes can take them, and if Mahomes is hurt, the Chiefs they're like Matt Moore is not going to do this for the team. And so right now I think Mahomes should still be the MVP frontrunner because of how amazing he's been. But if you're a Chiefs fan, you need to be terrified because this team will live and die with Patrick Mahomes.
True. Jacob, you said that he should be the MVP frontrunner, and part of me wants to agree with you, but part of me also thinks that Russell Wilson has been having a spectacular season. Right, I think last game he played against the Rams, he threw 4 touchdowns with no interceptions. All right, so even if he doesn't win most valuable player, I think he should win the most valuable player because his wife is very fine and he's a great football player, okay? So Russell Wilson gets my MVP.
We do love CR, and he's a great dad to baby future. Let's continue. The surprise team of the year. Who do you think right now, like what teams have been you looking at the NFL and been like, wow, they're better or they're worse than I thought they would be?
Beginning the season, I'm going to say I thought the Raiders weren't going to be as good as they are. Right now they're 3-2, and Antonio Brown leaving, I just kind of wrote them out. I didn't think they would live up to anything, but Derek Carr, a lot of people wanted him to be on the bench and have a rookie play in his place. But I think he's really lived up, and he's kind of carrying the Raiders right now into a place that I didn't think they'd be at. And then, like I said, that void that Antonio Brown left behind, I think Tyrell Williams, his wide receiver, he's doing better than expected, and he's living up to some of the hype that I didn't even know he had. So Yeah, I think he's doing a good job filling in for that void that Brown left.
Yeah, Tyrell Williams and Darren Waller, 2 big targets. They're doing a great job in that John Gruden offense. The team that's surprising me right now is the Atlanta Falcons, mostly because the Atlanta Falcons suck. I was expecting a lot better from this right now. You know, Matt Ryan, one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league, won the MVP a few years ago, and right now he has been unable to get that offense clicking. You know, Devontae Freeman just had his first touchdown of the year, couldn't help them. They gave up 52 points to the Houston Texans. And then last week before that, they got destroyed by the Titans, who just got crushed by the Bills. So Bills are 4-1. They're better than you think they are, but you still don't want to lose by the Titans and get dominated by Marcus Mariota. And so the team that has been surprising me the most has been the Falcons, because I thought they'd be a little bit better than they are. That's just about going to do it for this episode of Sports Mecca. We appreciate you all tuning in. We'll be back next Monday here from the studio. Where we'll talk about the Mississippi State game and whatever else is going on in the world of sports. But for Jacob Bauder, Bryson, Garret, we appreciate you all tuning in. We'll see you all next week.